Let's now look at obedience. Milgram's agency theory explains how social factors affect obedience. According to this theory, people may shift into an agentic state, where they perceive themselves as acting on behalf of an authority figure, and they distance themselves from personal responsibility for their actions. In this state, people may be more likely to obey orders, even if they are uncomfortable or violate their moral principles. Milgram's research focused on obedience to authority figures, particularly in the context of harmful or potentially harmful actions. Participants were asked to administer electric shocks to a person in another room when they answered a question incorrectly. The shocks increased in intensity with each incorrect answer, and the person in the other room, who was an actor, pretended to be in increasing distress. Milgram found that participants were willing to administer potentially lethal shocks if instructed to do so by an authority figure, even if they were uncomfortable or questioned the ethics of the situation. Milgram identified several factors that influenced obedience. The perceived legitimacy and authority of the person given the orders was crucial. Participants were more likely to obey when the authority figure had a legitimate and official role, such as a scientist or a police officer. The proximity of the authority figure and the victim also played a role, with obedience decreasing when the authority figure was physically distant or the victim was visible and in close proximity. Cultural and dispositional factors also influenced obedience, with people from more hierarchical cultures and those with higher levels of authoritarianism being more likely to obey authority figures. Overall, Milgram's agency theory highlights the powerful influence of authority figures on individual behaviour, particularly in situations where personal responsibility is diminished. Adorno's theory of the authoritarian personality suggests that some individuals may have a personality type that predisposes them to be more obedient to authority figures. According to Adorno, these individuals tend to have a strict and rigid upbringing that emphasises obedience to authority, as well as a black and white view of the world, intolerance of ambiguity, and a desire for conformity. The authoritarian personality is characterised by a tendency to be submissive to authority figures, to be hostile towards those who are seen as different or threatening to the established order, and a strong belief in traditional values and hierarchies. People with authoritarian personalities tend to be dogmatic and close-minded, and have a tendency to see the world in black and white terms, with no shades of grey in between. In the context of obedience, Adorno's theory suggests that individuals with authoritarian personalities may be more likely to obey authority figures, even when their actions may be harmful or immoral. They may see the authority figure as infallible and unquestionable, and feel a strong need to follow their orders regardless of the consequences. It is important to know that Adorno's theory has been criticised for being overly deterministic and for focusing too much on individual personality factors, while ignoring the broader social and cultural factors that may also play a role in obedience. However, it remains a significant contribution to understanding the dispositional factors that may affect obedience to authority.